I have been working on something for quite some time and it is finally ready to bring to you. Welcome back to Lizard of Doom. I am Max. Now, I'm never going to be able to compete with Games Workshop on like a 40k level with the billions of different miniatures, especially because I am funding this myself out of pocket. This is completely a lone venture. It is just me doing this. So while I'm scrimping and saving up to produce miniatures for this game, I am very grateful to all of my lovely Patreons who I'm going to put up top in this video. Here they are. Thank you for helping me support this. And if you want to keep up to date with this project, I'm going to do a weekly roundup on Patreon, like a blog post about how it's going. So the link is down below to join that. So how am I going to compete with Games Workshop and get in the space where I've got my own miniatures game? A skirmish game. Me and my friend Joe came up with a setting that we find very kind of intriguing and that interested us. And that is something that's not kind of well represented in modern wargaming at the moment. And that is a modern day setting with fantasy elements. There's modern day war settings, some of them a bit controversial, so I'm not going to talk about them right now. But there's nothing that I've found which kind of fills this gang-based, kind of like the film Bright, but if it was good, you know, that kind of thing. So step in my game, gangbang. Come and have a gangbang with me. So we've got straight fantasy games like Moonstone, a really good game. I've got a meeting with the creator of that to discuss this project and how I should move forwards because he's done it himself and I'm doing this myself. And we've got Malifaux, which is a skirmish game that is Victorian era fantasy elements. But we've got nothing that I've seen that interests me in a modern day setting with fantasy elements. So this video is designed to give you a taster of the setting, the characters and the rules, just a light dip into all of them, and then it is going to be up to you to look into it further. In the link down below you will find a link to the Google Drive. That is where you can find the rules for this miniatures game. It's about 13-14 pages long, all of the stat cards for the current models that you can play with, and little printable standees for them as well. I'll talk more about that at the end. First of all, the setting for this, Gangbang is based in a modern day fantasy setting in a British city, a city full of crime and scum, but enough about modern day Britain and more about the fantasy element. You've got all the fantasy species you would expect to find, your elves, dwarves, humans, orcs, gnomes, bits and bobs thrown in there, some more obscure ones as well, like minotaurs and cyclopses, but we have got a kind of like a mishmash fantasy. Much as Britain is a mishmash of cultures today, this game is a mishmash of all different species, and I'm hoping to kind of represent everything fairly equally in this game. So all of these different species are representing 4 different factions, wrestling for supremacy in the city of Grotport. The city of Grotport is a dangerous place where drug gangs control most of the east side and the west side is ruled with pure anarchy. The police have a strong hold on the north, but foreign interests seep in through the ports in the south. I'm going to get into the 4 factions and what they represent and who is involved in them next, but first of all, let me talk to you about today's sponsor. It is, one sec, Warmag. Now, they've sponsored me before. I did an unpaid review to see if their products were actually good, to test them, and then they liked the review so much they are now paying me to do videos on this channel. What a great company. Them sponsoring this video directly impacts my ability to get models sculpted, so thank you very much for the financial support of sponsoring this video. Let me tell you about what they make. They make a magnet system for storing your miniatures. Get rid of the old foam, it's magnet time, baby! So they make different boxes of different sizes, different base sheets to suit every single army. There is more to choose from than I could ever dream from, and magnets to put on the bases of your miniatures. The best ones being, as you've seen in my review if you've watched that, the premium magnets. They come with a little foam bit on the top which fits perfectly in your base, sits flush. Perfect! Mwah! Chef's kiss. But they're going to be sponsoring a few videos on this channel, so I want to switch up the ads a little bit and focus on different products. So this is the extra large box. It contains a large area where you could store massive minis such as knights. They fit in there really nicely. But it's also got this other section in the top, so you could put larger minis in the bottom, like your tanks and stuff, and your infantry in the top there. This fits a bunch of about 50 32mm bases if they hang off the edge as well, like the jetpacks for the Marines, which I put in my video in one of these boxes. So you can fit a mass amount of troops on top and big vehicles and things in the bottom. You can take your whole army to game day in this one case. If you have multiple, they are stackable and really good for storage. So definitely check them out. The link is down below, and I am very grateful for them sponsoring this video. Check out Warmag, really good company, really good people. Now I am cold in this attic, so I'm going to put my hoodie back on. One sec. Right. The factions. So there are 4 different factions. Each currently contains enough characters to make a gang. You need 8 models to make a gang, and you can also swap one out for an enforcer if you want a little bit more muscle. So each gang also has an option of 2 different enforcers for different playstyles. So right now there is enough for you to play the game and to launch the game, but this will be expanded on in the future, and these gangs will get more sub-factions that make them bigger and bigger for different playstyles. I'm quite keen on making each gang not have, you know, like, these are the shooty ones, these are the fighty ones. That may be representative now in the game, but I wanted it to make it based around the characters and the kind of aesthetics. That's how you pick your gang. One will not be better at shooting than the other when more miniatures are kind of put into these ranges. And you'll have your choice totally dictated by what you think is the coolest. And that is what I want to achieve with this game. So the first faction are the Fearless. They are a punk-based gang. One of the most popular aesthetics ever to come out of Britain. Still popular today in nerdom with things like cyberpunk. But this is true punk. It also handily matches the only way I know how to illustrate. If you'd like a full kind of video on how I've illustrated these characters, let me know, and I'll do a video on you know, how to develop your art style for a miniatures game. So let me know in the comments if you do want that video. I'll produce that. All art shown now is a concept. It is likely to change as I work with the sculptor and develop it for a final polished project. This is just stuff so I can get my ideas out there and help me develop the characters, and also help me develop the rules, because I kind of develop how they look first. I think, what could this person do? And that's how I make the rules based on what they look like. So anyway, I'm waffling. The Fearless. This is actually a video that I've written a script for, because I never do that, because I struggle to keep it in my head while I talk to camera. So go with me. If I'm looking down at my screen, I've actually got a script. I've actually got a script for this one, which I am waffling from again. So the Fearless are a group of anarchists that run the west side of Groport, a lawless and scary place where the strong rule in small bands of warriors. This faction is incredibly diverse and representative of a lot of species. The Twisted Fire starter set run by the main man Blitz Baker is more about crowd control. They do a lot of fire damage with a little wildcard Lucy, who is a teleporting melee maniac. So that is that little gang. And the other side of this faction at the moment is Black Nails. Now they are led by Zuri Nightmare, an accomplished mage who listens to no one. They mainly do psychic attacks with their vocals, and also they have a wild card in there too. Dave Rampage, the melee orc, their protector, and drummer for their band. As I said, each faction currently has a choice of 2 enforcers, and for the Fearless faction, that is Rumble and Riot. Riot being a kind of speed freak, melee focused, high damage, not very survivable, but still quite survivable because he's an enforcer. Minotaur. And then on the other side of that is a Cyclops who is called Rumble. He is all about chucking stuff, mate. He got a good punch on him, but he will chuck stuff at people, and he will also chuck people. So there we go. That is the 2 kind of styles you've got there. Do you want to be fast and damaging, or do you want to be a bit more tactical and throw stuff about? Now, the Fuzz is representative of the British police, the Bobbies. Now, they have got rapid response, which is more of your riot cops and your armed response. You've got some elven marksmen in there, and your dwarven frontliner led by Nganga, who is... Nganga is an African name, which is their kind of name for... It is a surname, but it's also their name for like a seer and a healer. So they are very tactical as a leader. They have healing abilities, and they're very useful, so keep them alive. Next we have the Task Force, which is led by DCI Buttercup, who is a grizzled old gnome. He has been 2 days away from retirement for 97 years. I just hit the microphone with my chin. I hope that didn't come out in sound. This is more representative of the higher ups in the police force. You've got more investigators and also the prosecutor Grimm in there. She is magic based and melee based. You've got Llewellyn as kind of a sniper and Muck, who is a crooked cop. Now, split faction is something in this game where models can be taken by one of two gangs. So Muck also goes with the Firm, which is like the organized crime gang. So each gang has someone who can flip-flop between different gangs for different play styles if you want to include someone who you wouldn't normally get in your specific gang, such as Dave Rampage from the last one. He is also the little brother of one of the fam, so he can join the Chavs as well. Yes, there's a Chav faction. Their enforcers are the Canine Unit, which is a damaging werewolf who heals when he kills, and also Sergeant Wall, a big ogre with a riot shield, appropriately named. You can use him for holding your objectives, or you can use him as a defensive line moving up the board first. Loads of different ways to use these two characters, and I'm really excited to see what you do with them. So these are the two factions that are currently in beta testing, with all of their faction cards and abilities and stuff down below in that link as well, where the rules are, so you can use them to test this game. I have a channel at the top of the Lizard of Doom server for beta testing this game, so come and talk to me there. Feel free to tag me. I really want to know what you think. What needs improving, what needs balancing. I think these two factions are relatively well balanced. I've tested them with friends and they seem to be balanced on an individual character level, so let me know what you think. I really do need your opinions on this to produce it further, and there is also feedback forms in the link down below as well. Now the next two factions, the Fam and the Firm. Let's go over the Fam first. They are possibly the most modern day British I could make them look. These are the type of people you see in Tesco's in their pajamas or at your local corner shop buying a 4-pack of dark fruits and an elf bar and maybe a scratch card. These are like the Chavs, the estate warriors. They run the East Side Estate, and that is the name of the first box, East Side Estate. So the Gov is the leader of these. He is an OG. He leads the main drug gang in Groport. Most of the city's supply flows through him and his dealers and henchmen, one of them being Skeng, who is Dave Rampage's older brother. That's why he split faction can go with them. Skeng's real name is Skevin Rampage, but his street name is Skeng. And talking of street names, we have also Murder Mandem. They have someone in there called Chef, whose real name is Charlie, who his Nan is the leader of that group, and everyone just calls her Nan. She calls him Charlie, everyone else calls him Chef. Now they are kind of the enforcers, the brutes on the estate that keep everything running, led by Nan, this mystic old oracle of the tower block. Their enforcers are possibly the most British character I could make. Duke, he is a bulldog man who isn't afraid to glass a stranger for stepping on the wrong estate. And also Doreen, she is a concrete golem made of the estate itself. She wanders and protects. She was a fallen warrior for the fam who has been reanimated and remade by Nan to be this wanderer and the protector of the streets of the east side of Groport. Now the final faction is something a little bit different. I didn't want to be hamstrung by just producing British crime-based gangs, so this represents the foreign aspects coming in and trying to get a foothold in the city of Groport. This is the Firm, and the first gang for them are a Yakuza-based all-elf gang. The way I've designed elves in this game is they get free movement before they do anything else, so they should be a fast, hard-hitting kind of glass hammer of a group. There is lots of melee in here, as you can see, and their enforcer is also a giant Oni with formal trousers and smart shoes to fit in with that Yakuza style. And the other side of this gang is currently the Russians, led by Baba Yaga. So this is kind of like, you don't want to run into them. They're cruel and unusual, and they'll deal a lot of sanity damage alongside their health damage to your models. There's two types of damage, two ways to kill people. We'll get into it. We'll get into the rules. Faction time, Max. And you do not want to run into their enforcer on a dark street, Bogdan. He will tear you limb from limb, as he's just a giant polar bear in a suit. So these two factions need their rules alpha testing first. I'm currently working on them, and they will come as soon as I can get them to the beta test. So for now, you've just got the Fuzz and the Fearless in there. Let me know what you think of them. So now we'll move on to the rules. The rules are something that I've developed entirely myself, and I've run alpha tests with friends, some of them being gamers who know how to miniatures game, and they have told me it was fun and enjoyable and easy to understand. And one important alpha test I did was with 2 people who play D&D, so they're kind of vaguely aware of how mechanics work, but it was interesting to see people who aren't miniature wargamers read the rules of their first ever miniature war game and figure out how they work. And for the majority of it, I didn't have to step in at all, and it was easy enough for them to understand. And by round 2 out of 6, they were just kind of intuitively playing it and focusing on their character's abilities more, which was really nice to see that this thing works and it is a viable game. There is a lot of familiar elements in this game from other games that I've kind of pinched and worked on from there. So if you like how easy it is to make a gang in Moonstone, just the same amount of models as your enemy, I've got it. If you like the reaction system from Infinity, being able to react to what other people do. If someone comes around a corner and you've got someone there with a gun, bang. This is in the game too, something that I've developed. I've hopefully made it a bit simpler than Infinity because I found that to be a very confusing game. And if you like the combat system where it's like to hit and to wound rolls from Warhammer, then that is also included but tweaked a little bit in my own style. So I've implemented the elements of a bunch of different systems that I like, and the stat line feels quite D&D. Hopefully I've mashed them up enough to make them my own thing and make them fun and intuitive. Now there's a couple of different scenarios, one with objectives, one where it's just kill them all, and one with an objective that you grab and move, grab the bag. That's a lot of fun. There always seems to be a big scrap in the middle and then someone takes off with it and you have to chase them down and get them. There is 2 ways to kill people in this game. There is health damage and sanity damage. If someone's a bit too hench for one of your guys to just clobber, maybe try melting their brain a little bit. That might help. There's your standard melee and range attack stuff, but there's also things like magical effects and special abilities that are resisted with a battle of wits. So that is based on your intellect of your model going up against the other person's intellect. And you have a battle of wits, it's called in the rules. And then if the attacker wins, they get to do their special thing, which is damage or movement or something a little bit different. Every character has their own unique set of abilities, and I'm finding it really interesting to see how my friends are using them in tandem with each other. Some are very designed to work together, like Banshee and Jericho. They are twins with magical vocal abilities, and they back each other up. They can shoot individually and do sanity damage, or they can shoot together and do more damage, and they're more likely to hit and wound and stuff. It's very interesting to see how characters work together. Also, the bosses of the gangs are pivotal linchpins in your tactical play of this game. Every other character has 3 actions, 3 things they can do on a turn. Bosses have 5, and they also have the ability to order other people to do their things for free. So the boss spends their actions to make other people do things, and that's come into great play working together with people like Llewellyn in the Fuzz. One of the bosses there can get him in a good position to be a good sniper because he's got the longest range shot in the game currently, and they can tell him to shoot, which is, it's really interesting to see. You can tell your frontliners to move up. Have a go. I think the boss mechanic and how they work with everyone else is kind of my thing for this game. Like every game seems to have like a novelty, and the boss being such a linchpin in this game really is interesting to see how people use them, and the loss of a boss in the game is a big deal. You do not want your boss to die. Like I said earlier, in the link down below we have the full rules, currently version 0.4. I do already have some improvements for version 0.5. Let me know what improvements you think I need to make, what you think I need to clarify. If things feel unbalanced, tell me and changes will be made. I'm taking notes on all of the feedback I'm getting. You're welcome to kit bash your own models for this at the moment, or use the paper standees that are printable from that link as well. The base sizes are on that file that says the standees. Essentially everyone's on a 32mm apart from enforcers who are on a 50mm base. Bear in mind that I will be producing miniatures for this currently out of my own pocket. There will be a Kickstarter. Who knows when? I'm not putting a hard deadline on myself on this. This is a complete passion project, and I'm trying to make it as unstressful as possible, which is hard to do. So there's no hard deadline. I've completed all of the character art. I've got half of the character profile rules sorted. I've got the main rules sorted. I'm in contact with a sculptor who is currently working, picture here, on the first character. I'm getting Skid sculpted first because they were my first piece of art for this. So I'm testing the sculptor out and seeing if we work well together and what their style is like and whether it's suitable for this game. And that's where I'm at. It's going to be a slow process getting the stuff sculpted and getting it cast and produced in resin and stuff. There will be a Kickstarter with the rulebooks, the gangs, everything I can put on there. On a real note now, this is something I am incredibly passionate about, something I really want to make work. And I really need your feedback. So if you've got a mate that you play games with or a local gaming club, maybe suggest testing this and join the Discord and tell me what you think. Tell me how it went. Tag me at Maxwell on there. Just tag me. I'm more than happy to talk to you. I don't have notifications on for the whole Discord because I would go fucking mental with the amount of stuff people are chatting about in there. But feel free to tag me about this. I want to talk to you about this. This video is designed as a little taster for you to then delve further into. So thank you to my Patreons. I put them up earlier. If you would like to join, the link down below and link up there. I need your help. This is a one-man project and it is expensive. So please help. And thank you to Warmag for sponsoring this video. Them sponsoring a couple of videos leading up to Christmas now is really helping to support and produce miniatures for this. I'm directly funneling a lot of the channel's money into this. This is what I want to do. This is kind of what I want to do with my life. This YouTube channel has got me out of a dark place and it is helping me and my family so much. So I'm so grateful for the sponsors from Warmag and Patreons, and I'm really hopeful that this works. So leave a like for the like throne and a comment for the algorithm gods. Remember, it is not a pile of shame. It is a pile of future fun. See you next time, kids. Peace.